Hello and welcome in to CalGuard Gymnasium here on the campus of Trinity University. And tonight, the hometown Tigers host the Schreiner University Mountaineers, and these two squads faced off just days ago up in Kerrville. And Schreiner with the 84-81 victory to take a 1-0 conference record, 8-2 on the season, as they travel down here to San Antonio to face the Tigers, sitting 0-1 in SCAC play, 7-3 on the 2024-2025 campaign. I am Josh Michkambo. I'll be joined by Annika Sines, bringing you the action in this one, and let's take you through the starters for Schreiner. It'll be Dylan Mackey, Bo Cervantes, who had 31 points in that contest against Trinity earlier, Camden Ross, CJ Ward, and Dylan Snow. For the Tigers, Braxton Berry, Christian Green, Jacob Harvey, Carter Rook, and Jacob Millhouse. Tigers in the gray. It'll be the Mountaineers in the black. And it'll be Camden Ross and Christian Green. Two favorites, I think, at the beginning of the year for maybe SCAC Player of the Year. There's many candidates. Tip won by Schreiner, but that one will sail out of play, and it will be Tiger ball.
Turnover number one already. 12 seconds in that game already. You see a Trinity defense is a big part of that. As Carter Rook started this game atop of that quarter court defense. Usually Zach Finn, but excited to see Carter Rook make his presence known here. Millhouse
in the paint, inside to Berry. Berry bodies his way up, won't get it to fall, but will draw the contact. And I believe we'll be going to the line to shoot two. The first foul of the game will go against the Mountaineers. And that will be on Camden Ross, so that'll be key to Trinity getting ahead in this one. They are one of the best in the country at drawing fouls and getting to the foul line. Unfortunately for the Tigers, they are not also one of the best in the country at free throw percentage. A significant drop off when you look at the national ranks. They're top 10 overall, 400 plus schools in Division III. They are top 10, number 8 at getting to the line. They are about mid-pack, about 170, somewhere in there for free throw percentage. Yep. So they make one of two there.
Converting isn't always easy. Free throws aren't always free.
That one almost drawing the 10 seconds, but Schreiner gets it across at about 8. Tigers into their zone that they pretty much love to go to.
It feels like not a traditional zone because they're running around so much. I know that there's a couple diagonal drop-offs that they, if you watch their zone carefully, will occur.
Yeah, not a pure zone.
Yes, not like a 2-3 that you'll see from Schreiner in that last possession that they set up, and they're headed into a man right now.
Off the dead ball, so we'll see if they go to zone in transition and man in dead ball situations. Berry looked really good against Rochester down low, as Green will set up, knock down the open jumper. And got an early whistle.
Huh.
And a foul being called on number 13. And since Trinity was number 13, that's got to be on CJ Ward.
I haven't seen one of those in a while. See if the foul's...
So it's foul off the ball.
Yeah.
And Schreiner will maintain possession. Harvey give pressure. And Trinity committing a foul as Cervantes, as I mentioned earlier, scored 31, was lights out from downtown. Schreiner typically lights out from downtown. They're top 25 in the country shooting the ball from distance.
Yeah, Bo Cervantes went 9 for 14 against their game, against Trinity, excuse me, on New Year's Eve. And Christian Green's barreling down the court. He had a 24-point game against Rochester and then led the Trinity Tigers with 16 when they played on New Year's.
Camden Ross elevates, grabs it, and puts it in on the layup quickly. Christian Green going back the other way, and he'll get blocked. And that was CJ Ward, who's now got it. In transition, Cervantes, kick out into the corner for the three. It's going to be Dylan Mackey, and the lead back to Schreiner now for the first time at 5-3.
He was a player with, I think, close to 3.2 seconds left in that fourth quarter. Got them that lead. on New Year's Eve.
Rook has it taken away, and Mackey's got a quick 5. It's a 7-3 lead. And Snow will give pressure up top on Millhouse as he brings it across. Mentioned Schreiner's really good at shooting from downtown, and that corner 3 helps set the stage. They turn that into good transition D. Braxton Berry, who had a great game against Rochester for Trinity's last time out, trying to work down low. They're going to give it to Rook, and Rook can't get it to flush down. That one spins out. Ward campaigned out underneath. Kick out for Snow, can't get it to fall. Ward with the board, can't get his shot to follow, and it's eventually going to be Harvey that pulls it down. He's got Green running up ahead. Snow in transition defense, but wisely gives up to Christian Green running full speed.
Dylan Snow, only 5'10", kind of knew he wasn't going to contest that one much.
Yeah, the one thing you don't want to do is just make pointless fouls. It's what Trinity does. They draw fouls, similar to how Camden Ross is going to draw that foul against Millhouse. And they draw pointless fouls from other teams.
Yeah.
And now they commit one here. But it's fouls that are committed when you can't make the defensive play.
Yes.
And so we'll see if Schreiner can stay out of trouble with that regard. And it was a really good job by Snow. Do what you can to maybe disrupt the layup shot, but you're not going to contest somebody like Christian Green coming all the way down.
Oh, most definitely, and especially having garnered 2 fouls early on in this game. Honestly, with how physical this game is already, I don't see them going past the 6-minute mark, maybe moving down into like the 9-8-minute mark, not in bonus already. So I see them going into regular bonus and the potentially double bonus pretty quickly, especially if these fouls are being committed at this pace.
Camden Ross can't complete. And this is his free throw attempt. Trinity did a pretty decent job of holding Ross in check, averaging 22 a game. Really kept, it was Cervantes that was the star of the show. So it's not like they did a great job overall necessarily, but they kept Ross from getting to his average. And Ty Williams can't get that one to fall. It's going to be a rebound for Mackey. Looking around, remembered he had his dribble and then started to use it. So Finn's in, and he'll draw the foul as he reached in.
That's number 3, early foul.
Oh, excuse me, that's going to go against Harvey.
Oh.
So quick second foul on Harvey. That could be dangerous here for Trinity. They're going to need him to be in this game. The one good, if you're going to have 2 fouls on Jacob Harvey, Rob Conrad checking in, had 19 in that game against Schreiner a few days ago.
One of those players, he's a freshman. He just controls himself and conducts himself in a way that you wouldn't expect him to be a freshman. Extremely athletic, getting better every game, gaining the confidence from Coach Jimmy Smith and obviously from his teammates as well.
Yeah, I mentioned in the Rochester game, he had 8 points, and they all came in like a spurt. and he's one of those guys, and I said it during the Rochester game, I watched him when we took on UTSA early this year. He's just got that swagger about him. When he walks on a floor, it looks like he's got total confidence and control when he's on a basketball court. So it'll be really interesting to see how he progresses. Almost a 20-point game the other day, and see how he does here in conference play coming up. That'll take us to the media timeout as we take a look at the early stats. Schreiner doing what they do. They shoot the ball well. Trinity, not so much right now.
Yeah. Obviously, 3-point percentage isn't much to talk about there. Turnovers is a big one, especially because that Trinity press is what's forced a lot of them. And then there hasn't been much of a drop-off. I know Zach Fenn just came in for Carter Rook as the top of that press. And even though Jacob Harvey picked up that foul, it looked like Zach Fenn was about to break away with one as he tipped it from the back. But don't see any drop-off there.
Yeah, Zach Fenn, one of the best in the country at creating chaos and steals.
Yes.
And he has as a 90% of the time, half the time, he reaches in, and I'm like, they've got to call that a foul.
There's no
and
way.
He's just so
good. He doesn't touch anybody.
He's so good at not making the contact, but getting the ball. And so that'll be something to look at as Trinity moves forward here.
I think Rob Conrad is one of those players that's learning a lot from his upperclassmen. And he's becoming one of those defensive players as well that's just reading where the ball is going and just knowing where to be at the right time.
Jacob Millhouse, little 8-foot jumper. friendly shooter's touch. Gets the roll. 9-7 Mountaineers. Cervantes brings it up across. That's Justin Gooden. Inside to Mario Johnson. Be taken away. Conrad might get the steal for that one. Either way, Trinity pushes forward looking to tie or take the lead. So they'll go inside. It's the big man down low, Will Bronson.
Will Bronson, another freshman, great at playing the high post area really well. Likes to go off of his shoulder, left shoulder, excuse me. And obviously another freshman connection with Rob Conrad.
Picking up where he left off. And he's tied the game at 9. And that'll be a foul down low. Should be Millhouse.
That'll be his second.
A quick 4 fouls as a team here against Trinity. So Millhouse and Harvey to the bench now with 2 fouls apiece.
And I'm pretty sure 3 out of those 4 have just come out of transition. They just can't control their body whenever they're coming from behind.
Yep. Medeiros will check in. Feed it inside. That's Ross. Bronson. Good defense. Finn got a hand on it, but kept alive by Gooden. And I think we're going to kick ball. Yes. They'll reset the shot clock to 20, and I'll just stay with Schreiner. Gooden was originally going to go throw it in. Now it'll be Mackey. And Johnson, but they kick out. Corner 3 for Mackey. Hit from there earlier. Doesn't get that one to fall. Rebound goes to Williams. Conrad now pushing. Bronson down low. Trinity got called for a few 3-second violations in their game against Rochester, so we'll see if they can avoid it in this one. Medeiros coming out of nowhere to keep that one from going out of bounds. Shot clock at 6.
That was
still hasn't, and it doesn't matter, it's out off Trinity.
I feel like there's a new lineup every game.
A little bit. Dean Balo's injury, I think that would have been your constant.
Yeah.
And with him being out, I think, maybe Coach Smith is to look at, what if we did this? What if we did that? Mm-hmm. What can we change? I don't hate the idea of Zach Finn coming in off the bench.
Yeah, it's a big spark.
It's going to be a quick spark, and it's going to be a defensive quick spark. So if you get a good offensive run going and then you need that defensive spark, you've got that in reserve. Mm-hmm. As they now bring this across, that's going to be a 3 by Rito. Charlie Rito's 3 off the mark. Medeiros all the way. Can't get it to finish. Bronson, nice little sky hook. Tigers retake the lead 11-9. Camden Hyman over to Johnson. Get back around Rito. And then nice little up and under, but it won't fall for Gooden.
That'll be the 5th foul committed.
That'll be Ty Williams. Getting very close to that bonus. We got 13:47 left to play in this first half.
I said at the 10-minute mark, I feel like this may come at the 11, if not 12.
Inside to Johnson. And not much Williams could do on that one as he was already behind him. Finn taking it to the rim. And Schreiner momentarily had possession, but Rob Conrad coming through and taking it away. Nice little Euro step for Conrad, and it'll be off of Schreiner out of bounds. So he lost the handle trying to go up after getting past his defender.
I said this in the women's game, but even though you got transition offense, it doesn't mean that you don't have to stop taking care of the ball. And especially the games that I've seen here at home, transition offense has been what has been going wrong for the men, especially when you talk about turnovers. They just want to go up pretty early in the shot clock just because you may have a 3-on-2 situation. It doesn't always mean you need to convert. Settle down in the half-court offense and get some good offense moving.
Medeiros is short on his 3 attempt. Christian Green checks back in for Trinity. Gooden. Down for Rito, back to Gooden. Working it inside. Johnson's going to get a, as I said, there's got to be a foul somewhere in there. They landed on him.
Yeah.
And it will be on Christian Green. 6th team foul, so not yet to the bonus, but that was in the act of shooting, so it'll be Mario Johnson, the 6'3" junior out of Houston Westfield.
Just feels, yeah, it just feels like the Mountaineers have just a lot more body control right now, especially in the paint. We're just jumping all over.
Too excited here on the Trinity side. Rito goes high up over to get the rebound, and there's going to be a push-off. That'll be white ball as Green hit the floor. Foul's going to be on Johnson. So, shouldn't say finally Schreiner getting called for a foul, because that is their 4th team foul, but this feels like they haven't made a foul. As you said, they were really good body control, especially coming in down on transitions. So Conrad to bring Tigers up. Maybe thought about going all the way, but pulls it back, kicks it around. Now Green at the free throw line. High up off the glass, a nice move for Christian Green.
Great patience. Obviously thought he could have taken that mid-range jumper. As soon as he saw that defense come at him, gave one more up fake, and then obviously a very acrobatic finish.
Yeah. He made that look easy. That is not an easy play. And Rito for 3. Back of the iron, no good. Now Will Bronson. Ooh,
oh,
yeah. You got to know where you are.
That was one of those freshman moves.
Yeah, and if you're going to throw it backwards at that point,
stop before the half-court line.
Yeah.
He was inches away from it.
And it's hard, but
a little excited, definitely excited.
Otherwise, you are in total control, straddling the line.
Yes.
Wait a split second, throw it in front of you.
Yes. And it would have been, what, a 3-on-2 break?
Yep, still would have been a 3-on-2 break. Johnson kicks it around. Mackey and Cervantes back in now. They left him open for 3, and it hurts. Bo Cervantes picking up where he left off on New Year's Eve. Knocking down 3s.
His resolution was probably to make more 3s.
Yeah, Schreiner 2 of 7 currently in this one. But those 2 will give them the lead here at 14-13. We hit the under 12 media timeout. Christian Green leading the way for Trinity with 6. Dylan Mackey had a quick 5 early on, and he's the leader for Schreiner. Roughly the same. Trinity just 0 for 1 from three-point range, so that's why they're at 0%. Both teams 6 of 13 from the field. So about as even as we thought it would be. 2 teams that coming into it you feel like are probably in contention to win the conference. There's going to be a few challengers this year on the men's side.
Yeah.
I think the SCAC tournament, when we get down to it, could be one of the best in the country.
I agree with that.
I don't know if it's the best conference. I definitely don't know if it's the best. I don't think it's the best conference overall.
Yeah.
But I think when we get to the tournament, it might be one of the best tournaments because I think you've got 3 or 4 teams that can really contend.
Yes.
For the AQ.
Competition-wise, you know that it's going to be a good game throughout every matchup of the weekend. We've seen it the past couple of years. I think 2 years ago, it came down to the last shot. Especially, I remember that very vividly. Tanner Brown shooting that last shot from that right wing, inevitably missed it. But nevertheless, it came down to one of those competitive games. And at the end of the day, that's what you want out of a conference game to head into that national tournament.
And Schreiner looking to get back. Coach Marwan Alkabare back to the national tournament. Camden Ross would love to get there. The 6'7" senior from Cibolo Steele High School here in San Antonio. Zach Finn all the way to the rim. He got an easy 2, and the Tigers retake the lead. And it's one of those things, I mean, Schreiner's got players that you, as a fan of basketball, you look at and say, it would be great to see them in the postseason somehow.
Yeah.
Zach Austin feeding Christian Green. He'll draw the contact. This is where Trinity draws the contact. In transition.
They're just so athletic and really excited. Obviously, definitely want to go to the rim. And they're just going to pick up the fouls. I thought that was really interesting. Zach Austin actually just passed it behind him to give it to Christian Green, who right before he got called for the foul was probably going to travel because of the contact.
Yep. Could have easily been called even with the contact. Jacob Harvey is checked back in. He's got 2 fouls. Gabe Parr working the low block. Give it to Christian Green. He's already got 6. Goes up high. Can't get it. Grabs his own board. Back down to the floor. Muscles it away. And then Parr slaps it off of Green's face.
That foul's going to be on Gabe Parr as he was called for an over-the-back / push against Bo Cervantes, who was trying to box him out, and that puts him at the line.
And Schreiner will be at the line for the next 10 minutes and 50 seconds.
It's a lot of time.
If you've got things to do and you're only interested in the second half, you've got time. So I think we'll be here a while in the first half with a lot of free throws.
Oh, yeah.
Potentially going both ways because Schreiner already up to 6 fouls themselves. Cervantes knocks down the first. That's no surprise. He's got 4 points on perfect shooting from long range 3, and then that last one. This one off the mark. Christian Green with another board. He's attacking the rim. Really needs to be a little bit more of a finesse player or be completely opposite.
Yeah.
More of a bull in a china shop at the rim and just try to throw everything down. That foul will be the 7th for Schreiner, but the first against Diamond. And Carson Diamond, the sophomore from Smithson Valley, that'll be his first.
I feel like that possession by Christian Green was definitely the latter. I don't think that initial shot hit the rim, but of course he went and picked up his own rebound, or his own shot, excuse me. I think right now for Trinity, offense-wise, they need to see the ball move, get punctures within the paint. Obviously get a couple people touching the ball before the shot goes up. A couple possessions ago, Zach Finn had a wide open layup off of top of the key screen. I can see a couple of those continuing to play itself out.
1 point lead for Trinity, but they were unable to cash in on the free throw or grab the rebound off of the miss. So it'll be Schreiner to inbound. Mackey, Cervantes, Washington, Gallardo, and Diamond. This is Mackey. He's already hit a corner 3. Passes this one up. Back inside. Mackey's under the rim. Spins around. Can't get it over it. Gets his own rebound. And now he's out of bounds. Yes. Zach Austin was foot on the line. And it'll be Schreiner ball with 20 seconds on the shot clock.
There's lots of bodies flying around.
Has the intensity that we expected. So I probably expected it to be maybe just a touch chippier than we've seen so far, but I'll knock on wood. We got 30 minutes of game time left.
Yeah.
Nice little hook there from Carson Diamond, and he's got his first 2 of the game. Just a bad spot to pick up your dribble for Finn. Harvey's out there with 2 fouls, so he's got to be careful with how he goes out to the Finn. And Barry and Carter Rook will come back into play. Gabe Parr and Zach Finn will have a quick breather. So I would imagine those guys will be back out there in rotation pretty often. Cervantes, quick play over to Gallardo. Cervantes, 10 seconds on the clock. Travel?
I'm going to call on the floor, I'm assuming.
Oh, they do call the foul.
And another trip to the line.
Right, Grant Jacobs drawing the foul. That'll be a 1-and-1 situation, 8th team foul.
That foul by Jacobs just is one of those, like, you just got beat by the dribble. Obviously felt like reaching.
Barry controls the board. Tigers looking to run. Harvey guarded by Cervantes. Now inside to Jacobs. Kick out. Carter Rook step back 3. Got it. Carter Rook with his first bucket of the day. That puts Tigers up by 2.
Carter Rook's been one of those players who's definitely improved over his second year here, playing under Coach Smith. I remember talking with Rook earlier this season and how it was a little bit of a transition coming from high school into college, just because, you know, when you're in high school, you're the it guy, and whenever you're entering college, you have to find your place, you know, sometimes often as a role player, and he found his space as being that energy off the bench during practice, during games. Obviously, he's now found himself in that starting lineup, but making sure to maintain positive energy, just poise, that's been his role here, and I think Coach Smith really appreciates it, along with his teammates.
So Cervantes answered the call, knocking down the three to give Schreiner back the lead, and now a foul be called against Washington. Blake Washington will take his first foul, but that will, well, Tigers are already in the bonus. That's now the 8th foul on Schreiner, so 1-and-1 opportunity for Carter Rook. Zach Austin takes a breather. You got roughly starters out there right now, but 2 big men. Grant Jacobs and Braxton Berry both in.
3, Christian Green as well. I consider Green like an extended small forward, just because I don't think
definitely.
I've seen him take a mid-range jumper or extended shot in a while.
Yeah, plays that Scottie Pippen role pretty well. Very long 2, very small 4. I guess not so small of a 4 here in Division 3, but the way he plays very extended. He's very lengthy with the way he plays, not your typical 4 role.
But he's such a slasher, and that's why you can definitely fit him in with a 3 potentially.
Nice inbounds play to Ross, and he can't get it to fall. And that's a battle that's going to be fun to watch all night, whether it's Braxton Berry or Christian Green. Camden Ross, maybe a chance to go at him. What a move for Christian Green. He now has 9, and the Tigers back to a 2-point lead. And this is the game that Trinity needs from Christian Green.
Yes. Obviously, we're going to see a lot of changes within the point swing, obviously, whether that's Schreiner or Trinity, but you need plays like that from Green to extend this lead. And to figure things out, you just got to stop right here, and now you got to convert.
Trinity was highly ranked last year at times, lost in the first round. Had some speculating that they'd be right back where they left off. Hasn't quite gone to plan just yet, 7-3 on the year. One could argue that with their big run and win streak that they had last year, they peaked at the wrong time. They might have peaked a week before the NCAA playoffs and the week before the conference championships took place. So maybe if you're a Trinity fan, you don't mind the idea that they haven't peaked yet.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they're not in contention to maybe be peaking, you know, compared to what they did last year. But this is a battle of heavyweights here. Schreiner comes in, and you look at it on paper, and they're about as equal as can be.
Yeah.
Dominant big men, great shooting from the outside. Both teams can play great defense when they need to. And it's a thing where, you know, Schreiner hasn't gotten the same level of respect necessarily on the national level that Trinity has gotten over the last year or two. But, you know, if they can piece together a win here tonight and maybe 2 or 3 more wins quickly as the schedule unfolds, Concordia, McMurray, Austin, and Dallas, this is a chance for Schreiner to start to make a national statement.
No, I completely agree. It feels like, you know, that meme with a bunch of Spider-Mans looking at each other. They're going tit for tat and everything. You think about foul counts. Obviously, Trinity got to the line maybe, a minute and a half after the Mountaineers picked up their, you know, bonus. But everything really is really even right now. You think of rebounds. That's based off of tenacity and willingness on defense to just make that extra play, make that hustle play. There's been a couple of bodies on the floor, so everybody's willing to make that, you know, extra surge of energy to get their team that ball. But like you said, everything is pretty on par going down the line.
Yeah, I've always felt like Division III basketball, especially as Barry misses, rebound from Mackey, is typically a situation where it's always going to be defined by team play.
Yeah.
But I also feel that, like, the teams that win the championship have 1 or 2 guys that can absolutely take over a game. And this contest in front of us definitely has that in full here, because there are about 5 or 6 players that can probably take over a game at any given point. Carter Rook from the corner knocks down his second shot of the day, and he's got 7.
Carter Rook obviously showing that he's definitely in contention of being one of those players that can take over. And I think a takeover, I think of Jacob Harvey, AKA Captain America, a couple weeks ago at the Leslie Robinson Classic. When was it? It was about a minute and a half left in the game. They were down by 8, hit, or a little bit less than that, or maybe more than that. And Jacob Harvey hit 3 threes in a row as he comes over with a little steal. Just one of those things where you need players to take over in big moments, especially seniors, upperclassmen coming in with experience. But obviously, Christian Green's going to be one of those players no matter what.
And a nice little finish on the interior for C.J. Ward. Originally missed the first attempts, but got the second one and put it in high off the glass. Yeah, Cervantes showed that he could take over a game with a 30-point outburst against Trinity already this season. We know Camden Ross got potential to be, National Player of the Week type caliber. Same with Christian Green. Same with Jacob Harvey.
Yeah.
And then as you look at some of the season averages, you look up and down the roster and you're like potentially different guys. Mackey's shown some ability to put in points in a hurry. Jacob Milhouse has done that for Trinity. Rook's showing that today.
Jacob Milhouse has been a little bit more of a standout this year and last year, especially showing his three-point shooting, skill.
Yeah, when he gets going, he can be a thorn in the side of the team that he's playing, because he's not a guy that it's not that you don't account for all 5 on the floor, but at some point you've got to say, like, okay, you got to stop somebody like Christian Green. You got to stop somebody like Jacob Harvey. Mm-hmm. And then Milhouse just starts shooting threes and hits like 5 in like a 4-minute span. And you're like, wait, how do we stop 3 different guys? We've got 5 out here, what is the plan?
No, it's hard.
And that is where both of these teams really stand. And they got, as Milhouse goes in and puts one in off the glass from the low block.
I think that's happened twice. I talked about Jacob Harvey, and then he scored, and then we talk about Millie, and then he scores.
We got time. Who else you got?
I know. Let's see. I haven't seen. I need some points from Zach Finn.
There you go. Ward underneath, gets it back out. Mackey, clock at 12. Good dribbling here from Mackey, but he picked it up and then couldn't feed it inside to Ward, and Braxton Berry getting down low. That was one of the things I noticed about Berry's game against Rochester, was really good with the ball down low on the block. The big men have a tendency to lose the ball down low because they let it go too low, and did a really good job of just ball control underneath. Mm-hmm. Nice attempt there, but couldn't get it to fall. Coming back the other way, that's going to be a foul? No,
it was just it was off the foot of Christian Green.
Okay.
Will Bronson in for the Tigers.
That one right, the camera showing you the footage there was right between me and that play, so always good to have the backup eyes. Gooden and Mackey kind of working it back and forth. Back to Gooden. And back to Mackey. Now inside. Ward. Mackey. And pretty excellent ball movement, except maybe one pass too many. The shot clock was at 6. And Mackey was trying to feed Ward one last time, and he ended up throwing it between his legs.
Jacob Harvey comes in for Carter Rook. We're going to see what they can set up here in the half-court offense. I would like to see at least 3 or 4 passes, interior, exterior-wise, to be fulfilled before he put up a shot here.
Mario Johnson.
Or just have an open Millie.
Milhouse missing. Green up against Ross, gets it to fall, and who's the foul on? Mario Johnson just checked in. He was contending as well. Let's see, do they give it to Johnson or do they give it to Ross? They called it, but they don't know who it's on.
They're going to toss a coin up.
Black 0, so that's on Mackey. I didn't even know Mackey was in the play.
I didn't think he was.
So here it is. The Finn's at the line. So it wasn't a foul on the shot attempt.
I thought
it was a foul off the ball.
Huh.
And that makes way more sense now. I was going to say it was probably soft contact if they were calling that against Green. And the shooter's touch for Finn once again.
That hit every part of the rim.
So for Mackey, that will be his first. That puts them into the double bonus. But Tigers can't capitalize. The Schreiner ball.
Will Bronson and Ty Williams also entered for the Tigers. They're going to be extending this press out once more.
That's what we're talking about, Zach Finn. He
just
knocks that ball completely clear. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, that happens, and that's always a foul.
Yes. I don't know. He's tricky. Knows where the ball's going to be, how it bounces. He reminds me of Dennis Rodman. You know, when they talked about how he would just look at the ball and see where it would land based off of where it hit the rim. I feel like that's what Zach Finn does when he looks at dribbles and when he looks at players, you know, handling the ball and where they put it on their body.
Pretty good sense to have. It's Gooden now to the lane. He's going to draw the foul, and that, I believe, will be against Bronson.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was just so much contact. One, he was moving. He wasn't maintaining vertical position. There's all around a foul. But obviously both teams are now in double bonus. We're going to see 2 free throws coming up for the rest of the 3 minutes and 41 seconds left in this game. I'm sorry, left in this first half.
3:41 left to play. Trinity with an 8-point lead. Kind of built that up all in a small spurt.
Yeah.
Harvey and Millhouse had a couple of shots go in. I believe Green had one. We'll get some replays here.
Carter
Rook had that 3 that you just saw.
Yeah, he picked up 7 points all within the second half of this first half. So within the last 10 minutes, I want to say.
There was a shot by Ward that inched it a little bit closer.
And of course,
Monica willing Millhouse in for some points. Finn got to the line. He knocked in a point. I don't know if that counts. But Trinity 32, Schreiner 24. And the type of game Trinity needs. Mentioned it briefly during the women's game. Trinity played Rochester on Saturday, and they blew Rochester out by the midway through. Actually, probably right after halftime. It was pretty much in control for Trinity. But we found out afterwards that Rochester not really allowed to even like pick up a ball or any actual activity. No sanctioned activity, obviously. Once they started finals, so like the end of November, maybe their last game was like probably December 7th or 8th or something, like most teams. So like they had to go an entire month without any sanctioned thing. So like Trinity feeling probably pretty good about the Rochester win.
yeah.
That might bring some perspective back to it just a little bit. But starting off pretty strong here against Schreiner, up 8.
I feel like that's something that just purely exemplifies Division III basketball, where academics definitely come before athletics.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not happening for the Power 5.
Oh, that's
Power
an absolute no. I bet you majority of those players, especially when you look on the women's game, but that's mainly what I'm more familiar with. But towards the end of that March Madness era, whenever they were playing 2 games for like the past month, like in a week, I can guarantee you they were all in online classes.
Yep.
One thing that Trinity does not offer, everybody's in person, have been for a couple years now, post-COVID.
Yep, same with Schreiner. One of the, depending on what aisle you're on for that one of the beauties of Division III.
Yes.
It's going to be Millhouse trying to find Bronson, but Camden Ross, excellent defender. And he forces Millhouse probably up too close for that one. Finn almost takes turnover from Cervantes, but he escapes that. Finds Mackey, and Schreiner's going to reset 20 on the shot. We've got Johnson trying to flash to the top, but Trinity's zone just keeps collapsing in on it.
It's that balance between Ty and Bronson as they're working the high post and that right block.
And the prayer from Cervantes. Just tried to beat the buzzer as the shot clock was at 3. And he knocks it down. It's back to a 4-point game. Cervantes, a perfect 3 for 3, 10 points now. All from downtown, and then the free throw earlier.
Looks like there's a battle between Bronson and Ross down there.
Ty Williams can't get the shot to fall. Johnson's going to pick it up. No, he lost his dribble. No, okay, there it is. I was going to say he can still grab it, but he was trying to get his teammates to come get it. Bronson will take the board up to Harvey. Harvey 7 threes away from tying the all-time Trinity mark. Make it 6.
There we go. That's the announcer magic.
That's what it is. 221 threes in his career for Jacob Harvey, and Camden Ross answers with a 3-point play opportunity. So he'll go to the line for the and one. And Bronson will be hit with his second, I believe. No, we already had the under 4 media timeout. So we'll stay here with the free throw. Christian Green will check back in.
One shot for Camden Ross.
Green's got 1 foul, 2 for Harvey, 2 for Millhouse, 2 for Bronson. And they've done an excellent job because they got Millhouse and Harvey got those early on. Can't complete the 3-point play. Ty Williams with the board. Millhouse. Oh, gives it up nicely to Christian Green with the flush.
Coach Smith is going to call a 30-second.
You get 4,
Wow.
you might as well use it.
Yeah, great transition play. Millhouse beat, I want to say that was Dylan Snow coming off that right sideline and then saw Camden Ross help, and that little shuffle pass was just right there waiting for Christian Green to just slam it down. Beautiful highlight. One of the many that's come from Christian this year.
I feel like Camden Ross saved Dylan Snow from getting a foul,
Yeah.
but in the process gave up a pretty electric dunk on the other side of it. So
I honestly feel like in that possession, Dylan would have just stayed there and would have let Millhouse just rise above him, and then something would have happened outside of that. But
it's a hard layup to make in that transition. If you've got somebody on your hip striding with you the whole way, who hasn't fouled you, and if he doesn't foul him as he goes up for the shot, the amount of control you have to have on that shot attempt has got to be pretty spectacular to get it to fall. So, you know, what are those things?
yeah, but that double pump layup is something that's really indicative of Zach Finn and Millhouse. They're both pretty good at it because they can rise up really well. But nonetheless, we came out with 2 points outside of it, and a beautiful dunk by Christian Green.
Schreiner looking to answer here out of the timeout. Mackey back to the top of the key. Might be looking for Cervantes. Instead, has the wide open lane, but it lost the handles. Did Green touch it?
I don't think Green touched it, but it was definitely off of Mackey's thigh. Oh, he did. He said, that's on me.
Okay. I was going to say, it looked like he might have, but it would have been ever so slight.
Yeah.
Johnson for the inbound.
Honesty is the best policy.
And off Green's foot. So, off of Green's fingertips, off of his foot. I think Green's trying to say
Look,
it
he's
hit.
smiling. Oh,
Did it hit?
he said it, yeah.
Did it hit the Schreiner player standing out of bounds? No, nobody was standing out of bounds. That was clearly off Green. Okay.
Okay.
Jump ball. And Millhouse with 2 fouls goes in there for the jump. And that now will be Trinity ball.
Here's some parents. I don't know if that was our side or their side, but they just screamed, "Get off of him."
It is one of the nice things that the Schreiner roster is made up of. It's growing. It's got a lot of Dallas and Houston area now included, but for years it felt like they were very highly San Antonio based. And so the games here used to be very Schreiner influenced. It was almost a second home game for Schreiner when they would come here to play. Turnaround jumper for Finn, no good. And that's going to be tapped long. And Jacob Harvey with, you know, probably a 10-second 100 on the dash. And Christian Green, it's an alley-oop. He didn't flush it, but another 2 points for Christian Green. He's got 15 here before the break. Tigers up 9.
That was one of those 50-50 balls where Jacob Harvey really just hunted that down, got it up to tie, and then had a beautiful finish once again by Christian Green.
Camden Ross cannot finish. Deflected away by Ty Williams. And then here comes Trinity. Finn for 3. Got it. The assist to Harvey, and it's a 12-point lead for Trinity.
Not many threes by Zach Finn, but when they go in, it's always a beautiful surprise.
4 of 6 now for Trinity. Mentioned Schreiner's excellent at shooting threes. Top 25 in the country at shooting threes. They're 4 of 9. That's a great percentage. Trinity so far just a little bit better. And that one thrown away, and the defense from Zach Finn causing chaos once again.
Carter Rook's gonna check in.
1.6 left on the clock. And they're in the control room during replay. If Trinity puts up a shot and makes it, they will definitely want to review it. So just a heads up on that one, as they always review shots at the buzzer. So we had a couple in the women's game.
Yeah, they went, I would say it was 2.5. I'd give that third quarter one a maybe.
Kick out. Carter Rook for 3. Got it!
Hey! And that was definitely before that light went off.
They have to review it because that's protocol, but expect that to count. 45-30, Trinity at the break. Carter Rook, that one counts. 10 points in the first half, and that is a surprise here for the Tigers. He got the start today, and he has answered the call.
Definitely, and he actually just got subbed in for that last 1.6 second shot attempt, and wow. I mean, of course you're gonna throw it to Christian Green, probably the most athletic guy on this court. Out-jumped everybody and definitely got it to Carter Rook, who was wide open as wide can get. So good for him. Made that shot, making his presence known. One of those players that we talked about earlier could be a breakout for them.
And the 3 is official. The officials looked at it, and it counts. 45-30 here at the break. It's a 10-0 run for Trinity in the final minute 40. And we will come back for the second half in about 14 minutes. So stay with us here on the Tiger Network. welcome back. 1 minute left here in the halftime period. Trinity 45, Schreiner 30. It's going to be the same starting five for both teams. For Schreiner, Dylan Mackey, Bo Cervantes, Camden Ross, CJ Ward, and Dylan Snow. Cervantes with 10 points, 3 of 4 shooting, all 3 from downtown, and he also had a free throw. And Camden Ross with 8 points. Dylan Mackey had 5. For the Tigers, it'll be Braxton Berry, Christian Green, Jacob Harvey, Carter Rook, and Jacob Millhouse, and it has been an entertaining game from Carter Rook. 3 for 3 from downtown, and Christian Green leading the way with all scorers with 15 here in the opening frame. And hopefully a thrilling 20 minutes ahead of us. It'll be Schreiner on the possession arrow, so they will have Snow bring it in for Cervantes, and we are underway. It'll be Mackey near side, feeding all the way on the inside. Ward guarded by Green.
Oh, that looks like a little bit of a travel. Okay.
And that was the call. So turnover again for the Mountaineers. They had 15 or 14 in the first half, and that makes 15 for the game now.
It's definitely a point of emphasis for the Tigers. They know that maybe garnering a couple turnovers early in the game is something that they do sometimes. So keeping it under 4, especially for those 20 minutes, was a big thing.
Millhouse worked his way into some really big trouble on Camden Ross with the emphatic block. He's now got on the low post working against Braxton Berry. Berry returns the favor with the block. That one's on the floor. Harvey can't quite get it. Now Berry diving to the floor, and we're gonna have a timeout for the Tigers. They had 3 left, and they'll have 2. And 52 seconds into this one, we'll take a timeout for Trinity. Get you back up on some of these stats, team stats wise. Tigers just behind on rebounds. 19-17 Schreiner advantage. Schreiner also with 8 assists to Trinity's 7. But Trinity 11 steals to 2.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the imbalance, I think, has been. Schreiner on the season just as good as Trinity. They're 1-2 in the conference. And Trinity with the very lopsided 11-2 margin on steals. And it hasn't really been a whole bunch of, in the women's game we saw it with the press and the pressure and everything else. The Trinity's just doing it from all parts of the floor.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that too is going after 50-50 balls. I think the last one that we talked about in that first half was there was a loose ball. It came over to this backside of the court. Jacob Harvey sprinted out of nowhere with a couple Schreiner defenders around him, got the ball, and then obviously they converted in transition. And you see it right here. I mean, Braxton Berry dove for the ball right after Jacob Harvey too. So when you come away with steals, that defensive edge is just there for them. They have that chip on their shoulder. They know that's what leads them through games. They know that that's what keeps them going in transition. So, I mean, definitely a lopsided stat going in favor for the Tigers.
You gotta believe that'll be a point of emphasis for Schreiner. Not necessarily picking up their defense, you know, but if nothing else, you can control how you play on offense.
Yeah.
And so, you know, not leading to those turnovers. So we'll see if that number comes back into play or if at least stays stagnant with Trinity not getting a whole lot more. But I think that's got to be one of the keys if they're going to get back into it.
Yeah, and it's just taking care of the ball. I think majority of those turnovers have come from putting the ball low in the paint, and you're just getting hands being poked in there by Zach Fenn, Jacob Harvey. A lot of those guards that are at the top of that press or at the top of that defense just poking their way in. I think a lot of that's come off of there.
Foul number 2 on Camden Ross. Millhouse to the line.
For 2 is Jacob Millhouse.
I wonder if this half will be a little bit of a parallel from that first half with how many fouls were called and how quick both teams got into bonus and inevitably double bonus.
It feels like they got there really quick, at least to the original bonus.
That was at the 12-minute mark.
At the 12-minute mark. And then Trinity, I think, got there before the 10-minute mark for sure. But then it seemed to taper a little bit as the teams got the legs back underneath them. And this one was sort of kept in check. I think the officiating was probably pretty spot on early on. Heard that when they went to go review it, one of the officials said he let it go at .3 on that Carter Rook buzzer beater at the half. And when they went to the replay and checked it, sure enough, he released it at .3. And so,
Wow.
So if the officials are seeing when a guy is releasing the ball on the game clock, you got to feel like they've got a good eye for the game for the rest of it. So
we love people that do good at their jobs.
You know, it certainly makes the flow of the game a lot better. And as we say that, a foul called on Braxton Berry, but C.J. Ward can't get the first to fall. But it really does. Like, a lot of that final 5 minutes of that first half felt like it was played in transition.
Yes.
It was quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
They let fans. It was more enjoyable from a Trinity perspective, but it was enjoyable from a pure basketball perspective.
I think the refs are doing a good job at letting the ball kind of play out a little bit, waiting a second longer, potentially call a foul or to call a jump ball. But they're letting them hash it out a little bit.
Berry goes up for the dunk, and it's blocked by Camden Ross. Now on the other side. And that one knocked away. Millhouse or Green. Green his second.
Number 2, Christian Green, that is his second. Team foul number 2.
And
I don't know what's going on down there.
it's a double technical foul, so black 13, and I didn't hear who the Trinity one was on. So C.J. Ward and maybe Braxton Berry?
If not, then Christian.
Yeah, Braxton Berry
Okay.
gets the technical, so that could be his third personal. And C.J. Ward, that'll be his third personal. So both will receive fouls number 3.
Team foul 2. Camden Ross for 2, in for the Tigers, Ty Williams.
And that's 3 fouls in the last 30 seconds. Committed by both teams combined.
Yeah, well, those technicals will count as personal fouls. Do they count? They do not count towards the team fouls. So yeah.
That'll be 5. No, they added them.
Oh, they just did. They threw them up there just now. So,
that's
okay,
5 fouls in 30 seconds.
Millhouse for 3. Got it. Jacob Millhouse has 8 on the day. 4 in the first half and already 4 here in the first 2+ of the second half. Ward, Mackey far side, almost double teamed with the zone. Rook all over Cervantes. Schreiner's quick with her ball movement. Trinity's defense adjusting just as quickly. On the inside, Ward's got the easy layup, and if you move it around enough, you're going to win that contest.
Yeah, especially when you puncture the zone a little bit. Get defenders moving.
The long reach of Christian Green. Couldn't get it to fall. Ty Williams couldn't get it to come back. And this will be an easy look here for Camden Ross, who has 12 and a team high for the Mountaineers. I felt like if they'd have gone to Ross initially on that one, that was a wide open dunk.
Oh, yes. Little 2-on-1 moment.
And I don't know if a dunk is what Schreiner needs right now, but we definitely see how many fans they had in attendance. Millhouse has
That'll put him in double digits, yeah.
10 points, six here before the first media timeout of the second half. Cervantes, cross court, Snow for 3, got it. Dylan Snow with his first basket.
Freshman out of Yukon, Oklahoma.
And a player control foul on Ty Williams going up against Camden Ross. That was probably off screen as it was down on the low block.
Pretty sure that was just him fighting for position. He's trying to plead his case with the ref, who's definitely not hearing it. I never understood. I was never one of those players to argue with the ref. I just feel like you're not going to win that fight, especially once they've already given it to the score table.
Yeah, it's already in the book.
Yeah.
At best, you can find out, you can get a sense of what they're trying to call.
Yeah.
But even then, you're running the risk of a tech pretty quickly. Will Bronson will take another foul. That one did prevent a dunk because I think Camden Ross was ready to unload. I think he's tired of the layups.
Yeah. And that's already 5 personal fouls on Trinity, or team fouls, excuse me. 2 more, and they're headed to the line for the rest of this game. I'm honestly calling it that they may get there before the 14-minute mark.
And let's be honest, that's now 8 of 16 for Schreiner. They've hit the 50% mark. Trinity's 5 of 11. Neither one of these teams is shooting very well from the line. That might become part of the strategy late.
Yeah. We saw that happen against their game in Wisconsin Lutheran, and especially that whole Robinson Classic. It just felt like no men's team, anybody, they could not buy a bucket at that free throw line.
An inside feed to Bronson, and that will be off. No, they're going to say it was out of bounds first. I thought Mackey had saved it off of Bronson, but they're going to say it already had hit.
There's going to be a...
Yeah, Trinity's gym, I mean, it's a bit unusual. You've got a balcony situation behind both baskets.
Yes.
You've got a basket that just sort of hangs out of the gym without any, like, we used to have the side, so behind the basket used to be a rail that attached it to the balcony.
Okay.
When we replaced the standards that hold it up, they got rid of that entirely, and then we added this beam in front. So now it feels like if you are a shooter coming into this gym,
Yes.
it would be a very difficult thing to look at and get quickly adjusted to. Not that you can't get adjusted to it and shoot very well, but it just seems like this is unlike most gyms that you're going to go shoot against. And if you play a day game here, then you've got daylight filtering in from almost every avenue of this building.
Yeah, no, this is one of those gyms where, honestly, it got me here. You're looking at a lot of like Division I and Division II programs that I went and looked at when I went to the transfer portal. This gym is very unlike a lot of them, especially because we have our coaches' boxes up here. But it really is very interesting. One of the most interesting gyms I've been in is the one in, it's not Shreveport, it's, it looks like a weird like Coliseum, and there's like the stuff. Do you know what school I'm talking about? It's not, they were in SCAC last year. Run some down and I can say which school it's not Louis.
Not Centenary, not.
I think it is Centenary.
Is it Centenary?
It's Centenary.
Theirs is the Gold Dome.
Yes, it is the Gold Dome. That one was a weird one to shoot in, but I feel like this gym is, honestly, lighting-wise, it's really good. I feel like if you're a shooter, this is one of the best gyms you can be at, if I'm being quite honest. I always feel like everybody shoots their best here.
Definitely has a little bit more depth as Millhouse
Yeah.
releases from 3. Front rim, no good. Rebound will go for Mackey. And then the quick pass out to Ward. It's definitely got some more depth than a lot of the arenas that we have in the SCAC.
I feel like space-wise, too, like as a player, you feel safe on this court just because that back of the wall is so far away from our baseline.
Finn taketh and Finn giveth. It's one way to really amp up your steal stats. It's just back and forth with somebody.
Oh, right.
And now
He's
Finn
just patting them at this point.
Finn grabs the board. Harvey. Oh, just missed. That would have been to draw him within 5 of Robert Kitzinger, graduate of 2014 here, the all-time leader for 3 points made by a Trinity Tiger. You got to figure Harvey's going to have that record at some point. And that was a beautiful move from the point guard. I wonder if his 3-on-3, it'd be weird to say that it helps him in his transition game because that's not what you do for 3-on-3.
Yeah.
But when it gets down to the end of transition, does that experience of 3-on-3 really help with, when you've got a 2-on-1 situation or something like that? Because it's not situations that you normally find yourself in during a regular basketball game.
No.
Because you don't have transition baskets every play.
Yeah.
So, but on 3-on-3 basketball, it felt like, me watching the Olympics felt like almost every other play was almost a transition basket in a sense where you caught somebody out of position.
Yes.
With a backdoor pass or something else.
Yeah. I think in regard to position-wise, I think that you're definitely like, you're hitting it on the nose where you're just having to adjust on the fly. Momentum-wise, I think it's really different just because we have guys barreling down the court going 100 miles an hour. So maybe quick thinking is a little bit different, but I definitely agree with the reading the defense, especially in a 3-on-3 half-court setting. You're just having to read in a really quick moment. But I can definitely see how that really helped him long-term wise. I can also see how 3-on-3 conditioning wise may have helped him extremely, just because I couldn't do that now. You can't just walk into a 3-on-3, professional 3-on-3, and just think you're going to cruise by. Like, there's no way. The amount of conditioning that those people have to do is just wild. And you only get one sub.
Yeah. Rob Conrad has checked in. Speaking of subs, Harvey does check out. And that one, a turnover. And Rito can't get it to the rim. Rebound for Trinity. Rook may have traveled. Wasn't called. Millhouse was blocked. Maybe not. Now they're going to call the foul on Ross. I thought he got the block clean.
I thought he did as well. But
Number 12, Charlie Rito.
It'll be Millhouse to the line.
It will be
10 points, 4 of 8 shooting. 1 of 2 from
2 shots for
the
Jacob.
free throw lane.
I had a little fouling drought. We had a minute and a half without any fouling. Something new we haven't seen.
That's what we need. So the stat broadcast that we have shows us some of the trends happening in the game. So right now there's 3 turnovers in the last 2:06 for Schreiner. They've also had a scoring drought since the last 2:06. That's what we need. We need the foul droughts. Hey, congratulations. You've gone 90 seconds without seeing
Without
foul.
fouling.
And Millhouse with a pair.
Jacob Millhouse.
He's got 12 on the day, inching closer to Christian Green's team high of 15. Christian has not scored here in the second half just yet. Camden Ross, team high for Schreiner at 14. And he's looked pretty solid early goings. This is going to be passed up ahead to Conrad. Loses the handle. Nice defensive play there from Mackey, getting back on D. Cervantes, pop 3, almost goaltended by Ross. Rebound go to Bronson, and Trinity quickly trying to push it ahead. Back inside for Bronson. Little dream shake on Camden Ross and Will Bronson. That's what Trinity's going to want to see for the future. The first-year player out of Dallas Jesuit.
He just feels like a true center, really takes up presence. Talked about this a little earlier, especially in that high post area. But he likes going back to the basket, gives a little shimmy shake now and then. And then he likes finishing off that left shoulder with a little hook, very Dr. J-esque.
Almost put in a fancy fading under the rim type of shot, but couldn't get it to fall. Will corral that one. Carter will tell you that's a control tip. I don't think that'll be the case. Guards got to fight for every rebound they can get.
Yeah.
Now Williams working in down low. That'll be a charge or a travel, and they give him the travel. Shoved off with the arm, too. It could have gone either way.
That was a really weird play.
Yeah, he's also showing that he's pretty exhausted, so they're going to get Grant Jacobs in for him. And that's what it felt like. It felt like a play where Ty Williams was probably just a little bit too exhausted to like.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to turn around right now. He's like, I'm going to muscle my way through.
And as soon as the defender just kind of, instead of bodying up, just kind of gave ground, it was like, oh, you gave me too much ground. I expected to hit somebody here.
Yeah.
Trinity with the zone that they've relied on so much. The chaos creates the turnover, really unforced.
That's number 20 against our 9. Number 21, excuse me.
21, and Trinity with 15 of those 21 coming from a steal, so the margin has grown. Trinity now 15-5 on steals. Trying to pop Conrad. And they do to the wing. Gabe Parr on the low block. Jacobs, maybe too much time to think about it. Kicks it back out, under 5. And Rob Conrad high up off the glass. He's got 4. Far side 3, in and out. Couldn't fall for Washington. Carter Rook, Conrad. 3 in transition. Front rim no good. Rebound pulled down by Diamond. And it's gonna be a foul on Parr.
I kind of knew that one was going to come. As soon as I saw Gabe Parr look at that ball, I was like, he's not going to let this go. He's definitely going to foul 94 feet away from his own basket.
11:23 left here in regulation. 17-point lead now for Trinity. And it just feels like Schreiner gave it a pretty good push right out of the gate here in the second half. Didn't really start to cut into the lead, and Trinity's responded by just basically saying, yeah, we're going to just keep it here. And it was 15-point lead at the break, 17-point lead now.
Yeah.
And just kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
So
It's been good to see a couple players, though, get into it. We just saw Rob Conrad go up for a high off the glass layup. Obviously, we saw some action from Bronson. So eager to see what else we got coming on the floor. Have
really
some consistency.
Yeah, I mean, the future of Trinity basketball, you're going to have at the end of this year, you're going to have Jacob Harvey and Jacob Millhouse graduating. Ty Williams and Grant Jacobs will graduate as well. So what does that leave you? You've got to replace 2 starting guards.
Yeah.
So Carter coming in, getting a start today, showing that maybe he's a point guard for the future. Rob Conrad could be a point guard for the future as well.
Yeah.
So, you're losing 2 guards. You might have 2 coming up.
Yeah.
And then next year you hope to get Dean Balo back.
Mm-hmm.
And Trinity's looking good for the future. You also lose Braxton Berry down low, so Will Bronson filling in for Braxton Berry. You would expect maybe into the starting lineup next year if his development continues.
Yes. And of course, we have Zach Fenn being a returner too.
Could see him maybe into that starting role as well, and then just creating havoc on defense from the start of the game.
Zach Fenn is also one of those players, doesn't matter, off the bench, starting. He's going to give you the same amount of effort, if not more, every time he comes into the game.
Left-hand hook from Diamond. Can't get it to fall. That should be off of Jacobs, and it is. Tried to hit it off of Parr, and Johnson couldn't quite get there. Getting there that time, though, was Gooden, and he'll lead the break down. No call there as Jacobs goes up, and now the whistle, as I believe they're going to hit Diamond. No, they're going to hit Johnson with the foul.
Gabe Parr was just smothered by 4 Mountaineer jerseys. Christian Green will check in for Grant Jacobs.
Foul number 15, Mario Johnson is second. And foul number 4.
They'll have Johnson with 2 fouls guarding Green. They'll switch off. Washington gets blown by, and Green couldn't finish the dunk, but it'll stay. No, it'll go to Schreiner off of Carter Rook. Nope, they're going to change it.
It feels like one of those plays where, 2 points is 2 points. Might as well just go for the layup.
The crowd in a bit of a silence here now with Green's missed dunk.
That would have just completely changed the vibe of this gym.
I'd have to look at that one again because I want to know if that one rolled out of his hand. Because
Really?
otherwise, I'm a little perplexed at how
Like how it missed.
Yeah, he's usually pretty certain about those. kick out. Carter Rook from 3, no good. And the push of ahead to Gooden. Goes baseline, turns it over to Parr. Parr almost wanted to give it right back. Now Green on the run. Diamond trying to foul. Couldn't get it done. Harvey inside. Gabe Parr. There's that layup you prefer.
Yes.
Gabe Parr pushes this to a 19-point lead, under 10 minutes to play. And that 10-0 run to end the first half, Schreiner has just not recovered from it.
No. And then when you have possessions like this where you just basically give the ball to Gabe Parr, I mean, it's what you're going to inevitably have. And then especially when you have this beautiful offensive possession by the Tigers, it really touched everybody on that right side of the court, and Gabe Parr was just waiting for that ball by Jacob Harvey, who just sliced it right to him, and then he finished.
Those are Parr's first 2 points, his first shot attempt of the game.
Yeah, he's definitely a defensive threat too. Anytime he comes in for Christian Green, or obviously I think he came in for Bronson in this last time, but definitely a defensive threat, and he goes hand in hand with a lot of the centers that we've seen come into this gym.
Trinity's committed 17 personal fouls, but they also have 17 steals. So
it's a give and take situation.
it's a ratio I think you'll take if you're head coach Jimmy Smith. And for Schreiner, now you start looking at the final 10 minutes. I don't want to say 19's insurmountable, because it's definitely
Stranger things have happened, for sure.
We've seen that. Snow steps out as he received the pass. But at what point, if you're Schreiner, do you start, looking at your schedule and say, we've got Concordia and McMurray coming in this weekend. How do you start to build that run so that way you feel good going into the Concordia matchup on Friday? Gabe Parr with the illegal pick.
I think it's just doing the intangibles. I mean, you just saw in that last possession, you just stepped out of bounds. A lot of those things are mental clarity. Like, you need to know where you're at on the floor at all times. Some of those things we saw it a couple possessions ago too. Like, they just threw the ball right into the hands of a lot of Trinity players. Once again, knowing where you are on the court, knowing where your other teammates are on the court. So just filling out a lot of these offensive possessions, even though they may not finish in a make, you're still getting good looks at the basket, and they just haven't been doing that.
Cervantes to Snow, Mackey far side, double team. Now inside to Ward, kick out. Cervantes for 3, no good. Fenn got the board. Parr hits the deck. Christian Green can't get the soft finish. Just a little too hard up off the glass. Cervantes back for 3. That missed everything. Shot clock doesn't even reset. Now up ahead to Harvey. He's just going to pull it out. Carter Rook, wide open 3, no good. I feel like these shots are too wide open, and Finn's going to get another steal.
I know.
There's the soft finish from Christian Green. I think it's 17 and the first 2 in the second half for Christian Green. So he reaches his average. Camden Ross on the backside of it. He's still short of his average, but he's up to 16 now. And Carter Rook with a brilliant play.
Really great play. He rejected that screen. And then I thought he was going to use his inside hand for a second there, but came back around with his left hand. Good body control. Made his shoulder square to that basket.
Yeah, used his shoulders to defend off against the incoming defender. And then on the other side of it, another foul.
Surprise, surprise.
That is his 4th. Team foul number 8.
Gabe Parr, number 4. Number 4. And that'll take us to the under 8 media timeout. 65-44 here.
The men will be back here when? The 10th, right? They're going to be...
Yeah, back here. So Schreiner hosts Concordia and then McMurray. So Trinity has McMurray and then Concordia.
Yeah.
The 2 travel partners. The rest of the way, whoever Schreiner's playing, Trinity has the opposite of the travel partner.
There we go. Okay.
And then, because we're so close to Kerrville, the teams will just flip-flop and it works
Yeah.
until Schreiner, or excuse me, until Centenary and Shreveport, Louisiana, and Colorado College and Colorado Springs, Colorado become travel partners. Then it starts to become a little funky.
Yeah.
Although the fun part about that was, I believe it was Southwest. One of the airlines had a direct flight from Shreveport to Colorado Springs and back.
Right.
So you could, in theory, take a flight from Shreveport to get to Colorado Springs, if you so choose, during the home and homes. And I believe that's why that they were made travel partners, because you could actually make that travel. Otherwise, that is a bus trip and a half.
To say the least. But it'll be a double header back at home here on the 10th with the women playing before the men. Obviously this year, women played before the men, and last year the men played before the women. It's always really funny whenever the women play before the men, because it's nice, like the crowd will kind of like trickle in towards the third and fourth quarter. But when the roles are reversed, usually the women's game will kind of just become a little vacant fan-wise. But it's good to see it this way, especially for a lot of seniors.
Yeah, and attendance here on campus is one of the hard things. I mean, you've got so many groups on campus, so many activities on campus, not to mention the fact that you've got to find time to study throughout the day. We have classes. You mentioned we don't have online classes, but we have night classes pretty much to a certain extent, with labs and everything else going on as a offensive foul. I believe they called Harvey? Yeah, Jacob Harvey was third. So, like, you know, once students actually get back onto campus, it's not. We do have a couple of games where we feel like, okay, the gym is absolutely packed. We've got the student crowd back in. But I feel like we might get 2 games a year where the students are actually available here on campus, because we play so many of our games during the Thanksgiving break, the winter break, during finals, whatever. And it's just, there are not a whole lot of opportunities for students to be on campus for our home basketball games.
Yeah, but we are a predominantly undergraduate school program. We have a requirement for our students to be here 3 out of their 4 years. So, or 3 out of how many years it takes them to graduate. But no, it's a different type of energy whenever you have a big student body show up.
Christian Green up to 19 on the day. Ward missing. We're being told a career high in steals for Millhouse. Yeah, he's got 5. That would be a career high.
Nice.
Once again,
Reed Rosales is doing his thing.
Lake Washington.
And then Caleb Reed, our other sideline reporter.
Are they
here.
clocking these hours texting?
Yeah, they should be clocking these hours with the letting us know that also traveling to McMurray up in Abilene is very difficult, because the only way to get there is basically to go through DFW. 21 points now for Christian Green. Yeah, we should have just zoomed them in. Let them zoom in for this one. I'm sure everybody's got enough, maybe too much experience in Zoom land.
I know.
CJ Ward with a nice finish.
Craig Wall.
As we're under 6. Yeah, we spent a whole lot of time talking about Finn and his ability to get steals. Completely missed that Millhouse has been paying off our stats people to get him 5. He's got 5. Harvey's got 4. And they've credited Finn with 2. I feel like I've seen Finn get at least 3, but we'll see. Carter Rook from 3. No good. And Barry trying to help Johnson up or something.
It was a weird moment between them.
And Zarnecki's checked into the game. Played a little bit in the first half, and he's back here in the second. He drives the lane, gets Barry up off his feet. And see, Barry, that'll be 4th. Count the tech from earlier. That'd be his first actual foul here in the second half.
Team foul number 10. 2 shots. That's his only.
The first one goes in.
Will Bronson.
Makes it a 20-point affair. And Zernicki with his first points of the game.
You're right. It really just felt like they could not recover from that 10-point surge in that first half. And obviously the Tigers did not let go of that lead.
There's just such a weird, like, maybe the timing of it, like taking that 10-point surge to the locker room. Maybe you sat on it too long, thought about it too much.
Yeah.
Millhouse kicks. Harvey in and out again. I've also, in my years here, as somebody gets super close to a record, say most made threes in their career, it feels like they go on a drought. If they're a career 30 to 40% three-point shooter, they're going to shoot 10%
That
if they
night.
get close.
Yeah.
And it's going to be,
I think Harvey also knows that he's really close. So in his head, he maybe he's psyching himself out. I don't know. Could just be one of those days too. It's a Monday night. You never know. But I'm sure he'll hit it, you know, within this week. Anything is possible for Jacob Harvey. That guy can shoot himself out of the gym. It's crazy.
he's already won 2 games for Trinity with his shooting from beyond the arc. Blake Washington missing at the line. But he comes back strong, gets the second one.
Little under 5 minutes left in this game, and Schreiner is still continuing to apply pressure from the full court.
And I like to see it out of Schreiner. I mean, you've got, like I said, we got games on Friday. So, and it's not a situation, I mean, 446, it's 18 points. I don't want to call this one over. The energy is just gone in the gym.
Yeah.
And if we're very lackluster on our end, you know, I think that's a little bit part of it too. But Schreiner can get back into it to some extent. If they can turn this into a 10-point game, then I feel as if, like, as you go forward for the weekend, you know, McMurray comes in, they're the highest scoring team in the conference.
Yeah.
So you've got to start figuring out your defense to play McMurray. And, you know, for both of these teams, they're pretty high scoring as well, both Trinity and Schreiner. And, you know, this is a fairly low scoring game. So I think that the defensive standpoint for both of these teams is pretty solid.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of, for Schreiner, you know, can you have a surge here in the final 4 minutes that just propels you, much like the way that perhaps that surge for Trinity did not allow Schreiner back in this game? Can they find something that gives them a little bit of that, like, confidence? Like, okay, this one's done, it's over, let's get moving. We've got a game Friday, and go from there. Inside, that'll be Bronson. He's got 6. That'll be 5th steal for Harvey. Up off the glass, and Rob Conrad with the finish.
Wow. I mean, he just elevated 5'11", super athletic. I was kind of wondering where Jacob Harvey was going to go with that. He gave a look over to his right shoulder, and Conrad just slammed it home. Wow.
Almost as good as seeing Harvey dunk. If you've seen the jersey reveal video from a few weeks ago, you'll know what we mean.
Was that a 10-foot rim? Was there a trampoline involved? I don't know. He's Captain America. We'd never know.
That is, you know, you choose to believe what you choose to believe.
It's true. It's true. But I'm very happy to see Conrad do that. Wow. Is that his first in-game?
I would.
This season, right?
I missed.
yeah.
So I did not get a chance to watch the New Year's Eve game.
Okay.
Just read the box score and looked back at the play-by-play. So I don't know if he got one. He had 19 points in that one, so it could be that he did something there. The only play I saw from the game at Schreiner was Christian Green's poster.
There we go.
And if you haven't seen that one, hopefully it's around somewhere. It's an excellent finish. I grew up in the age of dunks, back in the 80s. And you could just play that on SportsCenter and nobody cared about what else went on in the game.
Would you consider now the age of threes?
Oh, this is definitely the age of threes. You got a 7'7" guy with more threes than the greatest three-point shooter of all time through his first 100 games. This is definitely the age of threes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. They were looking at stats going down from, they're just comparing Wemby stats versus like Steph Curry in 100 games, LeBron in 100 games, MJ in 100 games, and this man is just either at that level or super surging it completely. And I can't even begin to describe the energy that's probably going to be coming back into San Antonio as they try and keep him here and just make sure they build pieces around him, like having Barnes on this team and CP3 and all the good stuff.
It's not a direct correlation, but I do feel as we look at some of the banners hanging here in the rafters, the men's basketball team celebrating their Elite Eight back in 2005. This is the same year Spurs won a championship. I feel as if when you got a major pro team doing very well in a sport, the college atmosphere for those sports has a little bit of an uptick.
Yeah.
You know, and I would include Schreiner into that vicinity as well, because obviously, I mean, Kerrville, they're probably closer, well, they're probably just as close to the Dominion. I know it's not mileage-wise, but it feels like it when you drive I-10. Just as close to where all the players actually live as we are down here near downtown. So, you know, the uptick as the Spurs are starting to rise again, the uptick you get throughout the rest of the college programs here.
Yeah.
You know, not a direct correlation. Just
you never know. The atmosphere, the culture within the city, it's different, especially when you're downtown. We have a lot of our friends and family that go and see a couple of the games here.
and become a basketball city again.
Yeah.
Be very hard for San Antonio to have any other
They've tried.
major
They've tried.
sports. Felt like they might have been able to get soccer going at one point.
They have the, what is it?
They still
San
have
Antonio FC?
Yeah, they don't, but you know, it's not complete MLS. Got
Yeah.
a great pro baseball team, and congratulations to former Tiger announcer Brian Yanselson as he's moving on up his way with the missions.
Wow.
As everything's coming up, Millhouse knocking down the tray. He's got 15, 11 in the second half. Steal for Green, kick it ahead, Harvey. Now he wants the record, can't make it.
Thought he looked over to his right shoulder again to see if Conrad was trailing.
Snow tried to get the finish, couldn't. CJ Ward's there to clean it up. CJ Ward very good at doing that, like always right around the rim, getting that finish. Millhouse with the assist, Zach Finn with the finish. Finn almost in double figures now, 3 of 5 shooting. He's got 8 points, 4 rebounds and 2 steals. And they're gonna get Ward stepping on the line.
This is starting to feel like one of those moments where they may just let this go within the next couple possessions. I don't see them fouling anytime soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it also starts to feel like a situation where unless there's blood, I don't know if you get, unless it's something that like dramatically alters possession.
Yeah.
I don't know that you're getting touch fouls the rest of this wave either.
Mm-mm.
Two minutes to play. Green working on isolation on Snow. Picked up his dribble, found Finn, threw it away. And Conrad gets a steal. Up ahead to Harvey. And would have been nice. Didn't finish it.
I think he wanted Harvey to get a little closer, maybe draw that defender in with him,
Yep.
and then give it up.
And Green will get the steal. And
Carry.
I was going to say it either hit off of Hyman. And if it didn't touch Hyman, then that was definitely a carry.
Coach Smith is also going to check in some players that haven't seen the floor today.
Max Sprott will check in. Played in the game against Rochester. Julian Dupertuis will check in. Jake Miller. And Joshua Chesney. And Siobhan Tolliver checking in. We mentioned some of the first years, Conrad and Bronson, and the ones that are playing significant minutes, but Coach Smith doing a really good job with the roster buildup here. We got quite a few young players here that showed some pretty good potential.
Yeah.
See what they can do as they get, maybe a little bit more established. And going all the way there is going to be Sprott. And Max Sprott putting in 2 points in less than a minute played.
And that last rebound was picked up by Julian Duper. I don't know how to say his name. Dupertuis?
Dupertuis.
There we go. His father is one of the professors here at Trinity, and Julian was actually an intern for the women's basketball team when he was in high school. So always a good familiar face to see here playing for Trinity.
And Dupertuis taking it now, picks up his dribble, kicks back out. Miller. He'll spot three from about 25. Can't get it to fall, and that will be a foul as Tolliver was undercut by Hyman. Also checking into this game, Bradley Russell, the senior from Denton, for Schreiner. So 38.3 left to play. Trinity is going to improve to 8-3 on the year, 1-1 in conference play. That'll be the exact same records for Schreiner as they fall to 8-3 and 1-1 in conference play. So these two teams will not see each other until presumably, I would presume that they are going to see each other again in the conference tournament. And if they don't, as we said, it could be a very good tournament. So interesting that they will not see each other again, because I think that if they do meet in 2 months, the outcome is definitely not going to be what we saw here tonight.
No.
I would imagine it'll be much closer to what we saw on the 31st, two heavyweights going at it.
Yeah, and especially when we start entering February, March basketball, anything is really possible.
Hyman getting his 2 points on the other end for Schreiner, and that'll be Miller knocking down the tray here.
An emphatic woo from the Trinity bench. Always excited to see some players make some baskets.
And we will not get a palindrome here for Reed, and condolences to him. We will be back on the air on Friday night as Trinity takes on McMurray. Women's game set for 5:30. The men will follow. And that shot will be off the mark. Final score, Trinity 83-56. Leading scorer for the Tigers will be Christian Green with 21 points. Also, Jacob Milhouse with a strong second half, finished with 15, and a strong first half for Carter Rook in the start, had 12. And for the Mountaineers, it was 16 points for Camden Ross, 11 for C.J. Ward, and 10 for Bo Cervantes. And it's again, Trinity back in action on Friday, Schreiner back in action on Friday. Schreiner's got Concordia, then McMurray, we've got McMurray, and then Concordia Friday and Sunday. So, Annika, last thoughts for this one?
I mean, it was just good basketball all around for Trinity specifically. I know that their turnover count was 4. Headed into this second half, I know that they may have lost it a little bit entering or finishing this game with 18, but overall it was a great game to see. I know that we wanted Jacob Harvey to hit his little career high in threes today, but I'm sure we'll see it later in the week, if not next week. But good game overall. A couple players saw the basket, or saw the game, excuse me, and it was good. Nice to see some freshmen getting some playing time. I know Conrad probably threw it down. I think that was his first in game one here at home, so always good to see history being made for some of our players here.
Yeah, finished with 6 points, had 8 the other night and 19 before that, so pretty solid move for the first year in Trinity. What I saw was really good ball movement, really good team play.
Yeah, I thought they took care of the ball in transition specifically, something that they struggled with about a week ago.
Yep, and those are the small things that I would guess Coach Smith is probably looking at, going like, yes, this is finally starting to come together. And so, yeah, and a great job. I mean, you lose a tough one on the road in Kerrville, you come back a few days later and you finish out strong, and that's it's going to be the mark of a good team, and we think that both of these teams are really good, and so yeah, we'll see how the rest of the season unwinds. We won't see them again, but maybe we'll see them not in the regular season, but maybe we'll see them in the postseason.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's it for us tonight, and we will see you back here again on Friday night. Women 5:30, and the men 30 minutes after, sometime around 7:30 or so. Have a great night and take care.